This is a continuation of Luminous by Sokka's first fangirl on AO3. This is Chapter 2, The Isolated Plateau. Open your eyes, someone whispered. Please, open your eyes. Through the darkness, a golden light shone in the distance. Wake up, Link. The light was blue now. He'd opened his eyes. He was awake. Had he been asleep? He was surrounded by glowing blue water, swiftly draining away. He was left lying there, shivering in the gloomy chamber. He sat up, running a hand through his soaked hair. Where was he? He was in some sort of pod? Bath? Whatever it wasn't comfortable. The blue light just kept shining overhead, and his first attempt at standing up ended in an embarrassing fall. His legs didn't seem eager to cooperate. When he moved, he felt oddly winded, like he'd been running for a long time. He looked down at himself, peering curiously at the scars littering his body. There was a thin white scar across one knee, a few scars on his forearm, and a tiny one on his right thumb. But all across his torso, those scars were huge. Burns, he thought, though he wasn't sure how he knew that. They were jagged, red and pink, awkwardly rising and dipping. In some places, his skin looked melted. There was another burn across his collarbone, creeping up across his neck. When he felt his face, he could feel a thin scar on his forehead. Not a burn mark, but a scar from a knife, an arrow, something sharp anyway. There was a similar, smaller scar on his chin. What the hell had he been doing? How did he get all of these? Where was he? This time, he managed to clamber out of the pod, bath, pool thing and stood on shaking legs. His hair tumbled to his shoulders. Little cold droplets of glowing water crept down his chest. There was that voice again, a girl's voice, very soft and worried. Are you all right? I think so, he thought. Could the voice hear him? There was no one else in here, so who was speaking? There was a pedestal across the room, with some little device on top, rectangular in shape, with glowing blue engravings. It was oddly familiar. He picked it up. It was cool and smooth to the touch. That is a Sheikah slate, the voice said. It will help guide you after your long slumber, Link. So he had been sleeping. How long was long? He still felt tired, and there was that name again. Link. It was his name, wasn't it? It felt right. So he, Link, held on to the Sheikah slate. When he approached the door with the slate in his hand, the door suddenly flashed blue and opened, leading to another chamber. This one was equally dim as the first, but long and narrow. Your clothes are in that chest, the girl said. Indeed, there was a chest against the wall. It looked dusty, but when Link opened it, he found the promised clothes. The pants were too short on his legs. He had the distinct feeling he was short, so these trousers really must have been short. But the shirt was too big, dropping off one shoulder. The shoes fit okay, but the leather was cracked and the soles were thin. There was a blue hair tie, and he hastily tied his hair back as best he could. He was sure it looked sloppy, but no matter. And there was a small pouch, too. A small black pouch made of soft fabric. Inside the pouch was a locket. It was beautiful. The pendant was shaped like a teardrop, engraved with 3 crescent moons back to back. The entire thing was silver. Cautiously, Link opened the locket and found a small white scale shimmering inside it. He couldn't understand why his hands began to shake or why he felt like crying. Hastily, he closed the locket and put it around his neck. It took 3 tries to close the clasp. For a moment, he just knelt there in the dark, staring at the empty chest. He turned the little black pouch over in his hands, rubbing his thumb across the fabric. All of a sudden, he felt very alone. "Oh, Link, I'm sorry," the voice sighed. "Who are you?" Link asked. The girl sounded as tired as he felt. "A friend," she said. "Please, darling, you must get up." Well, he supposed she had a point. He couldn't kneel here forever. He needed to do something, to find someone. He'd been doing something before, hadn't he? Before he slept? What had he been doing? Why did he have so many scars? Link stumbled to his feet and walked down the chamber. There was another pedestal, and the voice said, "You just have to hold the slate to the pedestal, darling." When he did, the lights turned blue again, and the door opened. This time, bright lights flooded in. He heard birds. That's what it was. Sunlight. That's what it was called. It was so bright it hurt his eyes. The air coming in smelled so fresh, nothing like the stuffy old air of the chambers. "Link," the girl said, "you are the light, our light, that must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go." Link tilted his head and tapped at the locket. What did she mean? What was Hyrule? How could a person be a light? Goodness, she made him sound so important. Drawn by the sunlight, Link took a cautious step, then another. He walked, then picked up the pace and jogged towards the light. At the exit, he brushed through a barrier of leaves and vines and began to run. He ran into the sunlight, right towards the edge of a cliff, and caught his breath. Was this Hyrule? It was beautiful. Sprawling fields and forests, a bright blue sky. Even the rivers seemed to shine in the sunlight. But what was that in the distance? Some swirling mass of red and black. It surrounded some huge building. Was that a castle? It made him sick to his stomach. It made him so terribly frightened. He didn't even know what it was. Link looked away from it, gazing at the rest of the land. Snow-capped mountains, lakes and rivers, and ruins. Quite a bit of ruins. He could see deer. That's what they're called. Deer. A lot of birds. Everywhere he looked, there was wildlife. It was big, empty, sprawling, and beautiful. Link took one look at the land and was instantly desperate to explore. His curiosity was suddenly overwhelming. He wanted to be down there so badly. Surely there was a way out of here, wherever he was. The sun shone down on him. The air was clear and fresh. He could smell flowers, but down there was even more, and he wanted to see it all. The land he was on was raised. It couldn't be too hard to find a path down, a hill, a gate, or something. Link turned and immediately saw someone watching him. A tall, bulky man dressed in shades of brown. His hood covered his face, except for his long white beard, and he carried an unlit lantern on a stick. He was standing still as a statue and just staring. Creep, Link thought, feeling a stab of dislike. "Link!" the girl scolded, but she gave a scandalized laugh. Link didn't want to talk to the man, but he wanted to know the quickest way out of here. So what choice did he have? Sighing, he started off down the path towards the man. He was sitting by a campfire. "Well, hello there," the man said as Link approached. "What brings a bright-eyed young man like you all the way out here?" "Where are we?" Link asked. He should probably have more manners. He couldn't bring himself to care. "Answering a question with a question," the old man said with an amused chuckle. "Ah, fair enough. This is the Great Plateau, lad." He stood, his knees cracking, and pointed towards the towering building. "That there is the Temple of Time, said to be the birthplace of Hyrule Kingdom. So this was Hyrule. Good to know. But how did he get off the plateau? He opened his mouth to ask, but the old man's gaze dropped to Link's locket. Well now, he said, gesturing to it. What's that? Just like that, Link's voice deserted him. His throat tightened, his teeth snapped shut, and he hid the locket under his shirt. None of your business, he signed sharply, and found himself blinking in surprise. He knew sign language. Sure, why not? What else had he forgotten? Well, I forgot my own name, Link thought. So that's already a bad start. He just knew the locket was important. Even more important than the Sheikah slate. Someone gave it to him, and if they gave him something so beautiful, oh, whoever gave him this locket must have cared about him. It was not for the old man's eyes. Yet the old man just kept looking at him like he expected Link to apologize. Oh, Link hated this man. He couldn't even say why, but he hated him. He wanted to scream at him. He wanted to break his stupid fat nose. Did he know this man before? Scowling, Link pushed past the old man. He paused, snatched a baked apple off the ground, glared at the old man again, and ran off. The old man called, "Young man, for goodness sake, child, it's dangerous." Link ignored him. He stomped along, munching on the baked apple. Blast it all, but it was tasty, and he was hungry. The Temple of Time loomed behind him, an oddly beautiful ruin. All around him were trees, overgrown with grass, wildflowers, and a broken courtyard. There was a shattered fountain with no water left. In every direction he looked, broken walls surrounded the edge of the plateau. There were a few ponds. One area actually looked to be flooded, and oh, damn it, he could see no way out of here. Still, he hadn't wandered very far. There had to be an exit of some sort. He'd climb down if he had to. "You absolutely will not!" the girl cried. Link finished the baked apple and sat on the edge of the broken fountain. "Did you give me the locket?" he asked. It took a moment for her to respond. She sounded even more weary. "No, Link, I didn't." "Oh." He felt disappointed. That would have been one mystery solved. "Do you know who did?" "I do." There was another long pause, and she sounded far away again when she spoke. "Open the map on the Sheikah slate. It will show you where to go." Baffled, he fumbled with the slate. Thankfully, the so-called map wasn't hard to find, but it was all empty, just a lot of dark blue, except for one blinking spot of orange and a little yellow arrow that changed direction when he moved. So the yellow arrow was him. The orange spot was where he needed to go. "Follow it," the girl whispered, and then she was gone. Link stared at the map. The spot didn't look far. He could see the old man on the hill, staring in Link's direction. Watching him again? Link glared at him, though he doubted the old man could see, and marched away in direction of the orange spot. "Sheikah Tower activated. Please watch out for falling rocks." Falling what now? Link thought. He got his answer in seconds. The ground suddenly rumbled, and he began to rise into the air. He rose because of the honest-to-goddess tower rising out of the ground. He fell as the ground shook. Rocks fell, and, with a yelp, Link tried to shield his head with his hands. Thankfully, nothing hit him. He heard animals making startled noises and something else. Something not animal, but not human, letting out odd shrieks and shouts. Link dared to raise his head, and he could see other towers rising. Some close by, some far away. Did I do that? He wondered, utterly lost. He stayed crouched on the ground until the shaking stopped. Slowly, cautiously, he pushed himself up. At least he didn't fall over this time. He picked up the Sheikah slate from the pedestal and tapped at his locket, safely hidden away under his shirt. Okay, all right. He just activated a bunch of towers. That was probably fine. The voice said to come here and follow what the slate told him, and he did so. So, yeah, it was probably okay. Goodness, he hoped no one got hurt when the towers rose. Now, how did he get down from here? Link wandered the tower slowly in a circle. He could see a gap in the floor. Did he have to climb down? There weren't any proper stairs. And leaned against the edge. This was just, oh, it was so weird. He didn't know why he was here. He didn't know why he didn't know. And he was hearing a voice in his head. Normal people didn't hear voices, did they? He couldn't be sure of anything. He just knew a few basic facts. His name was Link, and he was covered in scars, some more terrible than others. He had a locket, and he would not let anything happen to the locket. He had been asleep for a long time, and he didn't know anything else. He trusted the voice, but he didn't know why he did that either. He pulled the locket out from under his shirt, running a finger over the engravings, gently twisting the chain. Someone gave this to him, someone very important, someone who wasn't on this plateau, and he needed to find them. Link, the voice, the girl whispered. She still sounded exhausted, but not so distant now. You must remember. Try to remember. Remember what? Link asked. He straightened up, looking towards the castle. Everything, the girl said. She sounded so sad. It has been 100 years. He heard the words, but they made no sense. 100 years? No, that couldn't be right. Wouldn't he know? You didn't even know your own name, he reminded himself. Of course you wouldn't know anything. His hands felt numb, and he had to tightly grip the slate before he could drop it. He shuddered, feeling queasy, feeling dizzy. It felt like something heavy was pressing down on him. He stared at the castle, at that golden light among all the darkness, and the voice spoke more loudly, more firmly. When Calamity Ganon regains his true form, this world will face its end. We need you. Hyrule needs you. That thing swarming around the castle swelled in size, and even from such a great distance, Link could hear it roar. He could see massive golden fiery eyes and a boar-like head. It was so out of place in this beautiful world. It didn't belong here. He had the distinct sense it was hunting. You must hurry, Link, the girl pleaded. Please, my friend. You're in there, Link realized with horror. That light, it's you, isn't it? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Link knew he was right. She was gone again, whoever she was. She knew him. She could answer his questions, and she was in danger. She was with that beast. He had to help her. Deep in his bones, Link knew he'd do anything to help her. Hesitation forgotten, Link began to climb down the tower. His limbs ached. His chest was heaving by the time he reached the bottom. But he had to go. He had to get out of here and help her. Ho there, a voice cried. An irritating voice. And Link swore under his breath as the old man flew down from the sky. He was holding some sort of contraption, and he soared down to Link's side as easily as going for a stroll. Well now, the man said in a jolly tone, we have quite the enigma here, He looked at the tower thoughtfully. Can I ask, did anything happen up there? Link didn't answer. The old man's smile looked sad, regretful. I see I have some work to do to gain your trust, he said. Understandable, but you were looking towards the castle, lad. No doubt you noticed that monstrosity surrounding it. Reluctantly, Link nodded, and the old man hummed in response, looking Link up and down. Well then, courageous one, do you intend to go there? Courageous? Link wasn't sure what had given the old man that impression. He'd hardly done anything brave. Just accidentally activated a bunch of towers. Anyone could do that. Maybe he was just trying to get on Link's good side, though he did intend to go to the castle, so he nodded again. You'll need to leave the plateau first, the old man said, as if Link didn't know that. I suppose I could let you borrow my paraglider. We're surrounded by sheer cliff face on all sides, you see. Trying to climb down, well, let's just say no death could be more certain. He threw Link a sharp look, like he knew Link was seriously considering it anyway. Or more foolish, he added, and Link resisted the childish urge to stick his tongue out at him. He looked at the weird contraption on the old man's back, the paraglider. Link looked at the old man expectantly, and the old man grinned. Oh, that's caught your interest, he said. Very well, let's make a trade. Follow me, lad. If Link was going to give the old man credit, he walked slowly enough for Link to keep up. He was much bigger than Link and could easily have stirred ahead, but he kept pace with Link instead. At the top of a small hill, he used his lantern to point across the pond. There was a little black structure covered in orange light. That old shrine suddenly lit up, the old man said, when the towers rose. I'd imagine there's something valuable in there, wouldn't you? So here's my deal. You bring me whatever's in there, and I'll give you my paraglider. He smiled at Link again, that oddly sad smile. Do we have a deal, courageous one? Link fidgeted with his locket again. He nodded. Between him and the shrine, there was a trio of odd red beings. They had snouts, and they held clubs and brittle swords. Bokoblins, the word came to mind so easily. It happened slowly. It felt like all his senses were sharpening. His vision felt clearer, his hearing felt stronger, and all his fear fled. His gaze narrowed down to his three enemies. They made odd, pig-like noises and inhuman shrieks. They seemed to be chatting to each other, marching around their little camp with their weapons. Weapons Link could use. He knew he could. His breathing came steadily and easily. Slowly, Link crouched down and picked up a tree branch. It would do. He grasped his locket. Help me, he thought to someone. The important, unknown someone. He tucked the locket under his shirt again because it could not come to harm. Ignoring the old man at his side, Link marched towards the monsters and the shrine.